Welcome back to Gears and Glory, and welcome to our Miami recap. What is it? Welcome to Miami. Ooh,
Oh my god.
we need a new
Yeah,
song. Work on it,
two
please.
there were like two Miami songs that everyone was playing.
And it drives me insane.
Yeah. So, okay, yeah, Miami. There was literally so much that happened this race. Liv and I were just talking. Again, not joined by Britt because we're filming back-to-back episodes and Britt is down bad with a migraine. So,
Yes.
sending non-migraine energy to her. Um, But yeah, we were literally just talking about how all of my notes are just like they're just like so long. I was like, we need to just cut stuff out. So we may not touch on everything that happened, but we will touch on the big pieces. So obviously, and we
It
talked
sounds
about
a little
this.
bit choppy because this is going to be hard to chop out what there's no point talking about because, like we said, there's a lot of notes. Like, there's a lot that happened, but also, like, some of it
Like
needs to be ignored.
race content, also things outside. So we've got a whole separate episode that is going to / has discussed, depending on the order in which these are released,
Yeah.
the Alpine drama.
Yeah.
But we'll start with stuff that happened like right before. So like it's media day and Max had his baby. I don't know if it was actually the day of or maybe a couple days before because they like had pictures and stuff ready to go. So
I mean, Max said I got to spend a few days with her.
right.
I
So
think
like
use it as an excuse to get out of media day and just like
which respect.
I would too.
Respect.
We speak
Yeah.
about it all the time. The way these men are put in front of cameras is insane. So like I don't
Yeah.
blame him.
Constantly. So the other piece I wanted to talk about that was kind of like the whole weekend was all of the liveries. So Lando's helmet, I was like, that can't be legal. Obviously, then they did the vinyl sticker of it, which was so cool. Honestly, I loved it. I'm kind of thinking about like maybe I'll buy like a styrofoam ball and like carve a driver's helmet out of it and tile it myself. So
That
I'm really tempted to do that.
do it.
So yeah, I literally said Lando's helmet flash warning. I really liked Alex Albon's helmet too. It was orange
Oh,
for like the
Alex,
oranges in Florida.
that's kind of cool. Oh, I
I
did
loved
see
it.
that actually. Some
Yeah.
of not only just the helmet designs, but the photo shoots that they did to announce these helmets.
Yes, they were so good.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That-
Well, and the last one that was really cool was Mercedes. Also, shout out to F1 Academy. Dorian won her race. Chloe Chambers got on the podium. Loved that. Um, and first of all, the F1 Academy Mercedes was beautiful because they did stick on the colors for it. It looked amazing. I was obsessed with it. But I loved the like pink. I was so tempted to buy all of these special liveries, but I'm like, I'm not really a Mercedes fan. It just looks cool. And same with V Carb. Oh my god, obsessed. But
Oh, the
I'm not a
V
V Carb fan. So I was like,
yeah. If it
you
had
know,
Betty Boop's number on it, maybe. But like, I just like it for the pink. Maybe I could buy an Isaac Hadja one, but I don't know if they did like just team kit or like driver.
no, yeah, I think it was just yeah. So lots of special liveries, lots of really cool visuals for the race. It was very confusing though because it was Alpine and then also randomly the V carbs were pink too, and I was like, why are there 4 pink cars? I'm so confused.
Or
So
Alpine,
it was just
maybe.
tricky to keep those straight. But no, it was so cool. It was so great.
Yeah.
The last piece that happened before the races was that Logan Sargent once commented last Miami that, oh, how cool would it be to like, I would love to like one day go in like the fighter jets with the pilots. What does James Vowles do this year? And I'm saying this as I think I can't beat the allegations, and I'm going to say this forever, but as a Williams fan at this point, that one stung. Yes,
Yeah.
maybe he sucked. I'll admit it. Logan Sargent, not the best.
No.
But like the one thing that he once commented that he wanted to do, it's like seeing your ex do everything that you wanted them to do for you for someone else.
Yeah.
Except for Alex has been there the whole time.
Yeah, literally.
And
That was
also, where was Carlos? Why didn't he get to go on the field trip?
maybe he's scared of it.
I mean, I don't know. They're all crazy. But yeah. So, sad James Vowles, why?
Yeah. A little bit funny when we just did a very fun little segment in our in our last episode, in the Alpine episode. Kiss
Yeah.
Mary F1.
I did say I would marry James Vowles, and I stand by it. But also, that means I can, as his hypothetical wife in this situation, I can question it.
Thanks.
So, yeah, okay. Well, that kind of takes care of most of the outside of race stuff. Again,
Yes.
huge congratulations to Max on being like a biological father. Not that he wasn't a father to P, but so
Yeah.
exciting.
Absolutely.
So we'll kick off. It's a sprint weekend, so we had one free practice. Count it, one. It was kind of crazy. I really only took a couple of notes. Red Bull brought upgrades. Lando had flashlights in his car, and then they got
Yes.
investigated. There was no penalty, but there was a fine, I believe.
Yeah. You have to throw them out.
So, yeah, insane. Like, it's human error. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
And maybe, yeah. So I don't know. And
Thank
then the
God.
other bit was that Ollie crashed.
Oh. I actually didn't watch free practice, so this is news to me. I forgot there was a free practice, in all honesty.
There
Sprint
was
break
one.
with me. Not
Yeah.
even the point, because especially with a field of like rookies, what's the point? You're not, like you said, Ollie crashed, then that's his practice over.
Yeah, well, and it just, like, it being a sprint weekend, I don't know who it was that said it on F1 TV, but it finally clicked for me of, like, that's it. That's the one. Then you kind of go into qualifying mode, and, like, you also use that data to prep for the full race. But, like, when you're in sprint quali and when you're in the sprint, like, you also just have to compete while at the same time gathering what data you can. So, like, the stakes are just so much higher on sprint weekends. Obviously, it just, like, happened to click for me. But speaking of sprint quali, Kimi Antonelli, P1, huge. Loved it.
Right.
Yeah, incredible.
I was actually, Mum and I were laughing about this pretty hard watching qualifying, because he walks over to like where like they put their helmets after like getting pole and whatever. And I literally said to Mum, I said, he looks like he has no clue what to do.
He doesn't.
And
Everyone said it.
He goes, he's got no idea what to do. This is his first.
Yeah.
I was like, right? Like, hello? And the poor kid, thank God Big Daddy Max was there or something, and he was
Yeah. No, and George was right there. He didn't even take his helmet off to go congratulate him, which is like, it is so nice to see, like, these drivers who are now, like, they're not the rookie class anymore. They are the top. We've got a couple of the old dogs in Fernando and Lewis, but, like, then the oldest drivers, which makes me feel old because they're my age, are Charles, Max, Alex, like,
insane.
Yeah, Carlos is like in his 30s, right? But like they're old, and I'm like, these people are my age. Where are my 4 championships, huh?
Literally
Wasting my life away at this point. Yeah, I have 0 points in the World Drivers' Championship, and I have nothing to say for myself.
Yeah, you have an 18-year-old beating you. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, it kind of is. So no, it was so nice to see that George was right there, especially his teammates. Like,
yeah.
And I think, I'm on the George Russell bandwagon with you.
Oh yeah.
Right now, because like, I think it's so good of him to be able to show up for Kimi outside of the car immediately after and feel confident enough to consistently also beat him on track.
Yeah.
Like, yes, Kimi is a rookie. I think Kimi is probably the next one with like a spark in him. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say that I don't want to commit to that, because I think there's like Isaac Hadjar, same thing.
Yeah.
It's hard to judge the same out of drivers who are maybe in trickier cars, like Gabby Bortoletto. Like, he's not been given the same opportunities as these other guys. But maybe we'll see with Audi. Anyways, Kimi looks really, really strong. And so to be able to balance supporting him and also just, like, racing normal.
Yeah.
Huge. Big fan of George in that regard.
Yeah, speaking of George, I just remembered something that happened off track that, like, is huge and needs to be talked about, actually. I don't even remember if I ended up sending it to the group chat or whether I just like kept this one to myself or what. George Russell did an interview where he like slyly admitted his dad was as abusive as Max Verstappen's was.
What? Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Like the karting scene, exact same. And this is where we see the fire come out again.
Yeah. I think George Russell is very much like handsome Squidward, but can also be like regular Squidward. at the same time.
You can tell, like, looking at him, you're like, I can kind of see that you were abused. I get it now.
He's so poised outside of the car, but when he gets in the car, I kind of like seeing the bits and pieces of him when he tells Toto, like, don't talk to me under braking.
Yeah, literally.
Like,
And
it's nice to see, like, the fire.
Yeah, we're seeing, like, we've always seen these little bits and pieces of the same qualities that Max Verstappen has in, like, the sense of, like, gotta succeed, gotta do it. Like, you know what I mean? And that's why he's always, like, so, like, no, this, or, like, he's quick to pick up, like, no, they did that. You know what I mean? And everyone's just like, oh, anything goes wrong, then he's on the podium. But, like, he's got that fire, and he's got it built into his head that he has to, like, be good. Do you know what I mean? And, it so much makes sense now he's, like, said that in an interview, because, like, I know, like, a while back we were talking about how George Russell did an interview saying how it's only, like, the last year or two he's really started to, like, understand and, like, think about his mental health and, like, go to therapy. And then we saw that awful scene in Drive to Survive where they absolutely violated his privacy, but that's another story. But, like, it all makes sense. Like, his childhood has, like, brought this shit to his adulthood. Like,
yeah.
Well,
and on the topic of mental health, I know that there's so much out about that, and, like, it's so easy to sit here and have opinions and tell these drivers what we think they should do. And, like, I am going to take off my Lander Hater Club hat, because I don't think it's necessarily fair that I have, like, beef with someone who I don't know, like this parasocial beef.
Yeah.
So I'm going to chill out about the Lando thing. I think that he's in a tricky position, and I think it just got to my heart because I saw someone say, is Oscar the Max to Lando's Danny Rick?
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and be a little more gentle, because it's easy to sit here and have opinions, and I don't necessarily always love Lando's attitude, but also I don't have to be in front of all of those people when I'm in a horrible mental state.
True. And did you see that interview that Alan Jones did? It was on, like, an Australian, like, because obviously he's Aussie, but it was on some sort of, like, Australian talk show, and he was asked about Oscar Piastri and whether he's going to win the championship. He's like, of course he is. He'll easily will. He has a weak teammate. Mentally weak. And I was like, oh, we're going back here again.
We can't keep saying that about people. That's, like, not...
you may not be wrong, but, like, to say that...
I don't think it's necessarily even, like, mental weakness. I think it's just, like... honestly, and that's I think why I get so mad, is because I want Lando to be more confident.
Yeah.
He is so much, like, affected by the current state of things, which, like, who isn't? But, like, it like, gets to him a little bit more than, like, a lot of the other drivers. Like, Oscar can have a bad day, and that's not necessarily a statement about who he is. It's hard to watch Lando take things so personally when they aren't even necessarily about him. Like, it could just be a bad day. It could just be something in the car. It's not necessarily, like, a statement about his worth. And that's what's hard to see, because I think he reacts in a very human way to things when he's feeling attacked and stuff, because it's probably just interpreting things like that, but it's hard to watch sometimes. Like, I don't want that for him or for anyone.
And he's so quick to tell Oscar to, like, have faith in himself. Like, don't short sell yourself here. And I really, like, in the back of my brain, I think I already knew that, but it really, like, made me realize I was watching the, like, the drivers reacting to their F1 25 ratings before filming this, and they, like, the EA chick made them swap ratings and, like, guess each other's, like, normal but, like, in a different style. And Oscar, for, like, it must have been pace or something, and Lando was like, don't short sell yourself here, like, have some confidence in yourself, like, really, like, winding him up, like, as if he got a really good score when it wasn't really that good anyway. But, like, but then he's so quick to, like, degrade himself. By the way, Lando's score, skip if you don't want to hear what his score for F1 25 is, but his rating was 91. The same as Charles Leclerc, more than Lewis Hamilton, and not that far from Max Verstappen. Like, you got a good rating. Do you know what I mean? And, like, you still have no faith in yourself.
Yeah, and that's something that I've also heard is, like, I think Lando has the skill but not the mindset. I think Oscar has both, even if slightly less skill, because he's newer. Like, Lando has the years. I made a graphic about it of, like, it's tough, but the facts are that Oscar has more. Well, we'll get, actually, I mean, whatever. It's the Miami recap. Oscar has more wins than Lando.
Yeah,
Now.
literally, and in such a short time.
Yeah. So speaking of getting back to the race, let's rewind a little bit. Let me go over the sprint because what the hell was the sprint? First of all, I don't even want to talk about what happened before the race, but I will because this is a podcast, and as much as I wish I could ignore it, this is one of those things that we can't leave out of the episode. And that's that Charles Leclerc went and hydroplaned on inters when it was way too wet for inters, and he went to the wall and he didn't even get to do the sprint race.
You guys all know how much we love Ferrari and Charles Leclerc over here. Even if like that's not our number one team or driver, you know how much we all love them. My heart wants to say, God damn it, Ferrari, you really screwed him over again. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't have put him on inters. Unfortunately, fact of the matter is, I think it was a little bit of Charles' fault too, because majority of the other drivers were on inters too, and they went to the wall.
He sent it a little bit too much, and he talked about it in an interview. He's like, there was a point where it just wasn't me. It was just happening to me. And honestly, that's the thing about hydroplaning is you just kick up the wrong angle over the water and you're done.
Yeah, literally. It's not something you can stop. It's not something you can help. So that's why I'm saying, like, kind of Ferrari's fault, kind of Charles Leclerc's fault, all of Miami's fault. So
yeah, so it was kind of crazy. So during the sprint, Kimi obviously starts P1, drops back to 4th almost immediately. This was such a hectic race because Carlos Sainz clipped the wall kind of like how Yuki did in Jeddah, where he just hit the corner right before the squiggly little chicane, before the long back straight that's like right at the end of the track. And just that was it. You know, he just hugged a little too close. Again, it wasn't even like a rain thing or a wet thing. Like, it was just a driver error. He was just pushing a little too close, and that was it. Which, honestly, to get him back into quali in the feature race, like, really good on the engineers. But, yeah. Then we actually got, because it started to dry out, we actually got strategy during a sprint race, which was insane. Yeah. What was that? But it was the first time, and honestly, this one's a shout out to Lewis Hamilton, because this was kind of his decision of like, no, it's dry enough, we're putting on the slicks. Yeah, and it paid off.
Yeah. Thank God.
Seriously, we need some points.
Yeah.
We need some points.
Really, as a whole, infuriated me. Like, we started to see that strategy. There wasn't a whole lot going on, but like, obviously, a lot of drivers started to pit.
Oh, and the pit lane was a disaster.
It got to, I think, like 4 laps before the end, and as much as I want to like blame McLaren, like, there was nothing they could have done. Like, Oscar was in the lead, he had the right to be pitted first, and it just happened to be bad timing, and Lando ended up getting to pit half under safety car.
Yeah.
Which came out in front, and the safety car was until the last corner of the last lap, so they didn't even have a chance to swap the drivers if they wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
like, they could race to the line. Surely Oscar could have quickly darted past. Hamilton was too close on both of their asses. They literally had no chance to swap the drivers. And like, I feel bad for Oscar because he's sitting there going, yet again, so close to another Miami win, and I'm second again. I feel bad for Lando because this poor bloke keeps winning in Miami because of a safety car.
Yes, exactly.
And especially because he's got so many haters that keep reminding him that, like, he wins because of a safety car, which, like Max said, if my mom had balls, she'd be my dad. Add a bit of abuse, though, Max, Jesus Christ. But, like, it's just the luck of the draw. That's just how it happens.
Sometimes it's so related to luck. And, like, I did write in my notes, like, Lando did get another lucky safety car.
Yeah.
And, like, sometimes that is just how it goes. Sometimes it is just timing of where you are on the track when a safety car is called. And sometimes that's the name of the game with certain tracks. Like, there's tracks where, like, there's never not been a safety car.
Yeah.
And so you count on that and you stay out.
Here's a wild theory I obviously don't actually believe, but I think it's just fun to make up rumors. What if Liam Lawson's in this with Oscar Piastri and he was like, I'm going to crash out Fernando so that Oscar gets a safety car, so he gets a really good pit and like this win is secured for him, but he messed it up and the safety car came for Lando and then gave Lando the win.
Oh my God. Don't even get me started on the fact that Liam Lawson is terrorizing Fernando Alonso lately.
I'm so sick of him, eh? I literally said to Mum, I said, you might want to close your eyes here. We all know how much my mum loves Fernando. I said, you might want to close your eyes. You're going to want to kill Liam Lawson.
Yeah, it was tough. It's just tough. Like, and then Liam comes on the radio and is like angry about it, and it's like, you are gonna get a penalty for that because you can't drive like that. And I
Not even
understand driving aggressively, but like,
that's different.
roll it back a little bit,
Yeah.
just a little
He
bit.
drove off the track, and while off the track, attacked him. Like, what do you think's going to be the outcome in this? And this is why I kept saying, get rid of Liam Lawson, put Franco in the RB, and leave Jack alone.
Yeah,
Like,
I need to see the destructors ratings too, because it's like gonna be, well, it's gonna be Ollie in there, but I'll have to check and see where Liam is on the list, because he, in my mind, should be number one, because it just feels like,
Nando's number one. Because
really,
he had like 3 DNF worthy crashes. Like, because he didn't do the first 2 races of the season. He like DNF
right?
bad in Australia and China. I've got a
Yeah.
really cute close-up video of Fernando though, because he crashed right in front of me. Thanks. Every year in Australia, somebody I love crashes in front of me. First it was George Russell, and then it was Fernando.
No, it's Fernando.
But yeah, because he had that really bad crash in Australia, really bad in China. So he wasn't even in the like
he has no points yet.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, devastating.
I think he's like finally like on 0 in there because he's actually finished races, but I don't like up until like Japan at least, he wasn't even in the standings. There was 19 drivers because he hadn't even finished a race.
Jesus Christ. Well, yeah. So that one just kind of ticked me off, and I called it when I saw it. I was like, that's going to be a penalty. You can't just do stuff like that. But the other piece I wanted to talk about with the pit lanes was the unsafe release from Red Bull, which was just like just a full error. Like, Kimi was just there. It like slowed everyone's time. Crunchy car bits.
Out of his pit box. And I felt so bad for him because he was like, what do I do? Like, I can't pit now. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was nosing into his pit box and Max's car just shoved him right back out of it. He was like, back on track, mate.
Yeah. And well, and when they were both interviewed, neither of them really blamed each other. Like, they both knew, like, yeah, Red Bull messed up, but like, it's no one's fault really. And like, that's where I would love Lando's therapist to like try to move his like
mindset,
his head. Like,
yeah,
it's not all like, there are external factors that affect your performance, and like, it doesn't have to be anyone's fault. It could just be unlucky. Literally. It could just be like a bad day, and then you can move on from it.
Yeah.
My favorite thing that David Coulthard says is that the track is a living thing, and maybe on one day it just has it out for you, and it's just not your day. That doesn't mean it's never going to be your day, or that there's something fundamentally wrong with you.
Yeah.
And I think that Kimi is in that headspace, which puts him up in like the same category, maybe not at the same level, but in the same like pipeline perhaps to the category of like Oscar and Max.
Yeah, literally. Actually, while we're on that topic of that Kimi and Max incident, like, obviously they all knew it was a Red Bull issue, not anything. But like, Max did get a penalty for it because it was his team and car that like caused the issue. All over TikTok, why am I seeing people going, Max shouldn't have gotten a penalty? That's not fair. Hello?
It is fair.
He took him out. And like, it's not Max's fault, but it's his team's. And this is a team sport. So
yeah, lest we forget.
Penalize the team. You have to penalize the driver that actually caused the issue.
Yeah. They only name the driver because that's the car that it's attached to, but at the end, the penalty's for the team. It just happened to be Max's car, so he's the one who has to serve the penalty. It makes all the sense in the world. I'm so sorry.
That's the thing. People, like, fans don't understand. This is going to sound so, like, odd, but, like, read a penalty document. Do you know what I mean? It's not labeled, like, obviously it'll say Max Verstappen because they need to identify what car 1 is, but it is labeled under penalty for car 1. You know what I mean? Like, the car that's getting a penalty. Like,
the team's car. Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, unless obviously Max does something wrong, then it's like car 1's getting a penalty with Max Verstappen. But like, it's the car that gets penalized. It's got nothing to do with the driver. Fuck, like, the driver could pull a Liam Lawson and take out Fernando Alonso, but it's the car that gets penalized. It's when the car finishes. Like, at the end of the day, it's not even like the driver winning the championship. Like, it is, but it's like car won the championship.
Yeah.
About the car.
Yeah, like, we're just trying to give the car the best opportunity, like the teams are.
Yeah.
With the best driver for the car, with the best upgrades for the car, the best engineering, etc. But yeah, it's all 100%. It's like just a reflection on the team. Yeah. At the end of the day, even the drivers' championship, as much as it is about the driver, the team also has like 50% of that in just getting the car to where it is.
Exactly. It's like, obviously, like, let's use the Red Bull as an example. Obviously, not as strong as it has been in years. Sorry, Red Bull. I've spoken about you for 20 minutes here right now. Sorry, but like Yuki's doing a little bit worse than Max is because Max obviously has the higher skill level and can control the car better, but he's still not doing awful. So like, yeah, it's like the driver helps, but it's down to the car. Max still isn't winning every race because the car's not going to allow him to do that, no matter how freaking fantastic you are at driving.
Yeah.
It's all down to the car. And I think that's what, like, you can be a great driver, but it is motorsport. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's about the motor. It's about the car. Like, and I don't know how to explain that to people without people going, you're dumb. Like, it's the driver's championship. Like, do you know what I mean? But like,
yeah,
everything, like, you rarely see, you don't see like a driver getting penalized as such. Like, if the driver is underweight, it's usually, the car was underweight. So that's where you're getting the car's penalized.
The total weight of what should be in the car. Yes.
You're not like seeing a driver be like, the most I can explain is like, you'll see a driver get penalized for like jewelry. But even then, it's not like, it doesn't like affect the driving because it's not like a penalty point or anything. You just get a fine.
They'll get fines. So
it's like, I don't know how to like articulate what I'm like trying to say, but like, it's all down to the car. It's the car that gets penalized. It's the car. The driver can do something that affects the car and the car will get penalized. But like, it's down to the car. Like, I can't explain it. And that's why it really angers me when people are like, Max Verstappen shouldn't have got that penalty. He did nothing wrong. It's not about Max Verstappen. It's got nothing to do with him. Like, it's him and his car's fault because even though his team told him to go, he went and he hit somebody. His car hit somebody. His car caused the damage. It's the car.
That's I'm 100%. I'm on the
cool.
I'm on the stage.
Because I just said car way too many times, and now I feel like I just got nowhere with that conversation. But like,
no, I'm on the same page as you. Like, it's not as much as it is about the drivers. It's also so largely not.
Yeah.
So that kind of takes us through the sprint race. Then we get into quali for the feature race. I don't have a ton of notes here. It's really just that Isaac Hadjar and Lewis Hamilton, both people that maybe I was expecting to see in Q3, were knocked out in Q2, which was shocking from Lewis Hamilton. But the car, once again, how many times can we say car? It's just not where it should be. Like, even in Q1, Charles Leclerc started 8th. He qualified 8th. Yeah. You know, and he said that was the best lap I could do. Like, the car's just not there right now.
Yeah. This is like the new sprint format. This is probably going to be an original experience, and I don't think people are going to agree with me because I've never seen anyone agree with me on this. But I miss the old sprint format. I miss just having qualifying, that setting the grid for the sprint race, and then the sprint race, wherever you finish, is where you start the feature race. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That was good because it made the sprint race interesting. Like Max Verstappen says, with this format, you know who's going to win on Sunday when you've seen Saturday. Whereas, like, people have something to fight for when the sprint results are setting the grid.
Not just, like, 2 points.
No, but this is the thing. It's only the top 8 get points, and it's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, it's not...
no fighting and risking, like, damaging your car for 8 points. So, never as good of a race as the feature race is. Look back in, like, Brazil in, what was it, 2022 or 2021, K-Mag on pole. Like, do you know what I mean? You don't see that happen because qualifying, that's the thing. I feel like I've talked about this so much when I talk about the Leclerc brothers, but, like, so many drivers either have qualifying ability or race ability.
Yes.
And we've seen Charles Leclerc cannot qualify for the life of him, the poor kid. You know what I mean? But he's got that racing ability, whereas his brother Arthur, amazing, like, no, the other way around. Arthur can't qualify, but he can race. But Charles can qualify, but he can't race. You know what I mean? Arthur Leclerc starts in F3. I think he started 30th one race in Austria and then came 3rd or something. Like, he can fight for position, whereas I feel like Charles struggles with that, but he can qualify. So when you've got that, like, you qualify shit, but then you, like, fight your way through the sprint race and then you're all of a sudden on pole, do you know what I mean? It gives, like, those drivers a chance. Like, the reverse grid with F1 Academy and stuff. Like,
exactly what I was about to say.
Like, I just think, and, like, I mean, F2 and F3, they all do a reverse grid. And, like, while I understand a reverse grid itself isn't going to work in F1, I think we need to go back to the old format where, like, the sprint race sets to qualifying.
Or a reverse grid for at least, because, like, F1 Academy does a reverse grid for the top 8. And if you qualify 8th and you are in the best car and you are the best driver, you should be able to get back to 1st.
Yeah.
You know, it was raining for race 1 for F1 Academy, but Chloe Chambers qualified for P1, started 8th, and she got a podium. Like, it should work that
Yeah.
way. At least
That was
for fun for some of them. It only happens a certain amount of times.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I'm with you on that though. I think it would be cool.
Maybe we'd see a Nico Hulkenberg podium finally. You know what I mean? Like, he's now like,
I can't think about that too long. It makes me really sad. I actually can't think
I
or
actually
look
don't understand
like
how all the time he's never stood on the podium. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like the stake is somehow getting better. Like, look at their pit stops. Jonathan
well,
Wheatley's
yeah.
over there.
This
They're good.
race, they had the fastest pit stop.
Like, fuck it. Jonathan Wheatley in the pit lane himself, is he doing these like tire changes? What is going
He's
on?
doing all 4 of them in 2.2 seconds.
He's Luigi and Guido.
Yes.
I have my little. I don't know who this is. I've got my little.
Oh, the
Baby
cars.
My
Cute.
kids are obsessed with the like mini cars. There's so many. I've got a massive Cruz Ramirez. We've got it all happening here.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I don't know. I think the sprint format should never have been changed. Otherwise, it needs to be reworked again because it's just not working. It's not worth an interesting race when you could total a car. Like, you might have pole position, but then, like, look at Kimi Antonelli. He had to take avoiding action, otherwise he would have been crashed out. And then if you can't get to qualifying, for the next race, so there's no point fighting over 8 points.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough, but I don't know. I did take a note from Quali that was just that the highway's just like running in the background. Like, the overpass isn't running because that overpass goes right into the paddock, but like the rest of the highway is just like on.
Imagine like how many crashes there must be because they're distracted.
So many. So, oh my god, I would, and that they have cops everywhere too, because it's like, don't pull over and watch the F1 race. This is a moving freeway. Like, I get it, but like free tickets to watch F1.
It's like you see in Monaco, people find random staircases a mile away, but like when they're up the top of the staircase, they have a really good view because of the way Monaco's like leveled.
On hill.
And you know what? Honestly, it sounds so bad, but I don't know how there's not more like protest or like death. Like, I'm sorry, this is a really dark topic, so trigger warning, but if I was gonna like kill myself, I would jump in front of an F1 car. What a way to go out. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I know that's so dark and so like triggering for some people, but like that overpass is straight over the top of that back straight to like 17. Like, it's just a bit concerning.
Anyway. Well, like the protest thing for sure too. Like, if you want to get exposure, global exposure, do something that's visible there. Get arrested on the overpass. Protesting, I don't know, anything. I won't get political. We know.
Like the oil protesters in Silverstone or wherever it was years ago. Like, perfect opportunity for that. That got really quick. Anyway.
So the race. At the very beginning of the race, we can start with Max having literally a lock up in lap 1, turn 1, which was rough.
That was.
There's a stat that we've only had the race for a couple of years, but no driver has ever finished Miami from P1.
Yeah.
P1 is cursed at the Dolphins Stadium. So, and then in the midst of everything going crazy, Lando drops down to 6th. So he loses a bunch of places, like, immediately. Obviously, lap 1, turn 1 is when my cortisol is the highest, my heart rate and blood pressure are the highest.
Yeah, deadly.
But then he's back in 3rd by lap 9, so it was like false alarm. Like, I was nervous for like a second, and then it was like, nah, it's okay. Also,
keeping in mind that like 2 or 3 of those laps were extra formation laps under safety car as well. So like he got to that spot pretty quickly as well. Like,
so with all of the place changes, we can kind of get into the battles, of which there were a lot. There were the big ones, right? Which were Oscar versus a bunch of people. Well, really just Kimi to get 2nd, and then Max. So with this, there were like, I took literally such detailed notes. There were attempts on lap 10, 11, 13, and 14 to pass Max. And then what Oscar does that is really cool is he gets really brave around the outside. Like, he's unafraid of passing people on the outside. And I think with the McLaren, the downforce on that car must be insane for him to be able to overtake on the outside and not like lose anything.
There was genuinely some spots he overtook. I think it must have been Max he overtook in. That even the commentators were like, I have never seen anyone overtake there. Like, that should not have been possible.
Yes. Yeah. So it's lap 14 where I think it's turn 1 again, where Max was struggling with the brakes, and with all the rain, the track was super slippery. Like, Max was commenting on his brakes and how slippery everything was because there's no rubber down.
Yeah.
And it was insane. So he just kind of like, unfortunately, lets Oscar right through. But then 2 laps later, Oscar was already almost 5 seconds ahead in 2 laps, which
that
was
McLaren's insane.
In free air, it's a rocket ship. It's crazy.
Yeah. And it's such a big difference, like, when you look from, like, Oscar's first season in 23, where, like, he, like, literally DNF'd his first race because he had to retire because the car was just that terrible. To, like, now, he's leading the championship in his, what, is it his 3rd season? Yeah, 3rd season. Like,
yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No, it's crazy. It's crazy for how, like, fresh, like, how green he is.
Yeah. And,
he
like,
doesn't seem
first season and a half, such a write-off.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's crazy. I'm rooting for Oscar this season. Obviously, we know my mom loves Oscar, so we're rooting for Oscar. Yeah. In terms of other battles that we saw toward the front, there was Lando versus Max, which is always going to happen with the way that these two guys are going. So for a few laps, they're kind of fighting. And then there was a bit where, like, Lando overtook him, but there was, like, is it off? Is it track limits? Is it not? Like, was it a legal move, essentially? And then Lando just gives the place back. I think he must have learned a lesson with Lewis of, like, do it thoughtfully and make it stick.
Yeah.
Because the way he was fighting, I think it was Saudi, right? Jeddah?
Yeah.
Where he was back and forth in the DRS. Either that or Bahrain. No, one of the two.
Yeah, let's go with Jeddah. I'm 99% sure you're right.
Yeah, I don't want to generalize, but it was sandy and hot. That's why it was a night race. Yeah. I think it was Jeddah. I don't really know.
Oh, but sure. It is now.
Someone can fact check me. I don't care. Please actually do. But yeah, so he overtook, gave the place back, and then just overtook it, like, with less of a question on whether or not it was legal. So that for me was, like, huge. Like, he's learning, he's good, he's thoughtful, like, he's like quick and adept while he's like, I'm just, like, shocked how these guys aren't, like, frazzled constantly. I know I would be, but that's why I drive a normal car at normal speeds on normal roads. Literally. So
Lando's finally gone back on his, I don't want to mature, I'm happy where I am. And he's maturing, realizing and understanding that there's no point fighting nothing. Just get in properly.
Yeah. Well, and it's the same, it's kind of like the opposite almost of, like, what Carlos Sainz is having to learn of, like, don't fight. I mean, maybe it is the same. Don't fight if it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Just do it right the first time in terms of where it makes sense.
Yeah.
So, we got a very cool close-up of Laura Mueller when Lewis and Esteban Ocon, which, first of all, ouch, why are we fighting with the Haas's?
Yeah, literally, what?
And what? So, anyways, they are overtaking, and they're getting so close to each other right before the chicane, right before a braking zone. So it was really, really crazy. And Laura Muller's face, I've seen so many videos about it. That's exactly how I was feeling. Yeah. It was the most relatable I've ever seen an engineer. Because usually it's like Hannah from Red Bull.
I love her.
I can't remember her last name. I know it's like a SCH. There's a
like
T and a Z.
Schutz. I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't want to mispronounce it.
Yeah.
But she always looks so concerned.
Yeah.
And then everybody else is neutral. Like GP, neutral. William Joseph, neutral. Ricky, neutral. Laura Mueller is having the same experience as the rest of us.
That's the thing. And the females, they're not afraid to let those, like, emotions come through like the rest of us. Whereas men are so, like, high and mighty, like, this doesn't bother me. Like, do you know what I mean? Come on, guys, let some emotion.
I want to see somebody get stressed. I want to see them cut to Brian when he's saying it must be the water. Yeah, I want to see his face when he says that. But it is actually interesting, though, now that I say that, like, why Laura? Just because she's a woman? Like, why aren't we, like, yes, we zoom in on the engineers, but, like, maybe just, like, nobody else has, like, expressions that are worthy enough of like a broadcast, but like
yeah. Well, because at the same time, they kind of zoomed in on her like how they would like Alexandra.
yeah. So it's like I don't know what that situation is. It was very relatable, but like we need to examine like that.
Yeah, like why?
Yeah.
Oh, that mood lighting.
Greater depth. So sorry, just have to turn on the light. Running out of daylight.
For reference,
Yeah.
it's
So
almost midday for me, and you're turning on a light.
yeah, I know. So the last piece that I put down was Carlos versus. So it was Carlos versus Charles. Carlos passes him. That was just tough. Like it's Williams. Like Williams is doing very good. So it's like hard when like I kind of like both teams and like I want to root for the midfield, lower field team to do better, but just not when it's against my favorite top team.
Yeah, literally.
So especially like old teammates, like there's so much. And then we had at the very, very last lap, Carlos versus Lewis in literally the last corner, sending it. Well, no, and I'm so sorry. I would be remiss to mention when Charles is getting his place back, Carlos leaves the door just open enough, and Lewis through goes Hamilton.
Through goes Hamilton again. He just got his own experience of that.
Yeah.
And you know what? This is like on topic but off topic. Back to my like, I just watched the F1 reacting to the F1 25 ratings.
Yeah.
Alex freaking Albon, you could see in Carlos's eyes, he didn't know how to react without being like bad media training. They were looking at their final ratings, and Carlos was like, "Oh, I got 90," and the lady was like talking about other ones, and Alex was like, "Oh, what did Hamilton get?" And he got 89 or something, and Alex dead set goes, "You replaced him, and then you beat his rating," or something like that, and I was like, hold on, I'm pretty sure I just sent the clip to you guys on the chat, but like, oh my god, it was absolutely like,
I think you did.
Oh, let me share it with the class because Britt just sent the exact same thing. God love
Yeah.
9 for Lewis. What?
Yes.
It should be higher. Very controversial. I'm higher rated than Lewis. I'm higher rated than the GOAT.
You've been replaced and you're rated higher.
The finger pointing is so funny.
And Carlos was just like, incredible. Like, he does not know like how to react to that, being like, ha, sucked in. Like, you can see he wants to. He's like, this is fantastic. Like, the downfall of Lewis and Ferrari, like, ha, and he just can't do it.
Yeah, so, yeah, you know, I don't know.
Something's going
Just tricky. Well, I mean, and then speaking of Lewis, actually, what we still have Lewis to thank for is all of the radios. I literally, Liv was sending these in the group chat, and I go, that can't be real. There's no way that's real. And lo and behold, I'm like looking at all of these, like at like the F1 and like some of these more like, not that you're not legitimate, but like legitimate like other sources. And I'm like, he actually said those things. Yeah. He said the Lego car thing. He said that. That's real.
Yeah.
That's the one that I was like, there's no way.
The only one I think wasn't real, only because I've not seen it from like a credible source, is the shove your dry pasta up your ass. Because like I don't.
That one, yeah.
I don't think he would have or could have said that, but it's funny.
But like, yeah, no, it was so crazy.
Let's like without the radio message, just so we can like.
Yeah, you sent them in the chat, I think.
So funny. Oh yeah, here we go. So Hamilton goes, the setup is terrible. Ferrari obviously understood. Ricardo, and he goes, the Lego cars felt better than this, man. Give me one of those. Keeping in mind their top speed was 20 miles an hour. Those Lego cars. Oh no, we've lost Sof. It's happened again. Oh no. Oh, she's back. Oh my god, those Lego cars, like that race.
Yeah, I'm having.
That was the highlight of my weekend.
Seriously. Oh my god. Well, no, fully Max taking the chicane.
Favorite
was so funny. Oh my god,
sorry. This is my favorite one. Ricardo goes, Sainz 1.4 behind, and this is just after the Ferraris have been told to swap, and Lewis responds with, you want me to let him pass as well?
Oh, he was so sassy. He was so sassy.
Angry. Yeah,
so actually, Britt, when you listen to this, tell me what you think, but I want to talk about the team order swaps of they were going to catch Kimi. That was the goal. And Lewis was advocating to get swapped, which I understand. And the thing that gets me with team orders that I struggle with is like, you should just pass them on merit. You should race your teammate cleanly. Yeah. Obviously, don't risk the car, but like at the same time, you are still competing against each other, even if it is within the team. That's why I really don't like team orders.
Yeah, because realistically, if you think that you can catch the car ahead, if you think you should catch Kimi, you should be able to catch your teammate and overtake him.
And you should be a good enough driver to make a pass without crashing into someone, especially if it's your teammate. So your team shouldn't be worried about any damage.
Honestly, I think we should like make a list of team orders from this year, and at the end of the year, rank them on how dirty they were done.
Because like, I do want to say, well, and I do want to say sometimes I think they're valid. Like if it's a pit error, like a strategy error, where you like, because that's what happened to Oscar. What was it, Austria last season?
And where they got swapped back.
Yeah, and they were like literally emotionally manipulating Lando to give the place back, which like back in the day, Seb Vettel, he would never have given that place back.
No.
And now we're in this era of like people being soft and cutthroat at the same time, and it's like it's a huge learning curve that nobody knows. But I digress. Yeah. Those kinds of team orders, like I kind of more understand. But like if it's just like I want to take a try, like Mom says it's my turn on the PlayStation vibes. Yeah, like if you just race your teammate cleanly and get past. Like I don't think we see enough of that, of let them race.
Yeah. I don't know whether you or Brent sent this to the group chat or whether I just saw it on TikTok, so I don't know if you've seen this or not, but somebody said that like Mark Webber tried so hard to make sure that Oscar Piastri didn't end up like him at Red Bull, that he turned him into Seb Vettel.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, fair.
I was like, whoa. I was like, I'm not wrong, but like also wrong because he's not like, I love Seb Vettel, but like
he was crazy though.
Yeah, it angers me when new age fans like idolize him and just see him as like this like hippie save the planet dude. Yeah. He was a devil. He was a terrorizer. Yes. He was a terror. Like, do you know what I mean? And like, he wasn't a horrible person, but like, he wasn't very nice to Mark. He really wasn't.
And that's why he won too. Like, because he wasn't nice.
And that's the thing though, back in the day, it was about racing. It wasn't, oh, well, let's let my teammate through. And you know what I mean? It was like, no, I'm ahead. Catch me, fatty. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah. So, well, that kind of takes us to the end of the race where it was insane. So both McLarens come in, they take off their helmets, they are like taking selfies, and then George Russell's car comes into the pits. Basically 30 seconds behind.
Yeah.
Like a Max Verstappen 2022, 2023 distance behind.
Yeah. I absolutely love the videos that people post on TikTok from the race where they're like, this is like the real time gap where they like film the corner and like you see the McLaren. Yeah. I was sitting there so long going, this 30 seconds feels really long. Like the gap between the McLarens and George was like, obviously, if the graphics work, you can see the time between them. But like, I don't think anybody really understands how long that 30 seconds is until you're seeing it like that, where you're seeing them come through.
You're sitting there watching it, and it's not a broadcast cutting to like the winner out of his car doing the. Can we talk about Oscar doing the? I'm sorry, I don't want to call it the gritty because I don't know if it was that, but like doing a little jig, doing a little dance.
He didn't quite get the gritty. And you know what? I'm not going to try it because I am uncoordinated and don't think I can do it. But I don't.
No, I'm not going to try it.
Move. Gunter Steiner did it better.
Did he?
Okay, the final product of Gunter Steiner was really bad, but when What's-His-Face first showed him, the first attempt was pretty, like, decent. Get Fernando Alonso in front of him teaching him how to do it. That video is insane. How does that old man do that?
Oh my god. Yeah, so it was adorable. He definitely, like, knew he had to do it because he had bet the guy who taught him, the athlete who taught him, I don't know who it is off the top of my head, but, it was so funny. So, and like, while all this is happening... Say again?
I love how embarrassed of himself he was. Like, he was like, why did I do that?
He was like, that sucked. I really wish I hadn't done that.
He was like, I knew I had to, but like, that's now on live TV.
For everyone to see forever. That's on the internet everywhere.
What Piastri thought. She's got a lot of thoughts about her son. I want to know what she said.
She probably thought it was silly. I love her. Nicole Piastri, this is a fan podcast for Nicole Piastri.
Okay, let's try and get Nicole on next.
Oh God, that would be a dream. Yeah, so and then while all this is happening, like Red Bull is still telling Max to stay within 5 seconds because then like they were thinking of the George Russell penalty for VSC infringement, which never ended up going through, which like get your bag, I guess. If you can get them on a technicality, get them on a technicality, which is also such a huge part of the sport. Is it's just like everyone's reporting everyone for everything, which is fascinating. But like whatever. And then the other bit that Red Bull was telling people to stay 5 seconds distance was Yuki ahead of Isaac because Yuki was it a pit lane speeding?
Yeah, I think it was who spent the
5 second penalty.
Was that pit lane?
And
no, it was under VSC. I think Yuki was pit lane.
So he had to stay 5 seconds ahead of Isaac to stay in the points, and I think it was by like 1 second or a fraction of a second that he kept that, which is great for Yuki, but like tough for Isaac, especially since Isaac's performance has been so good this season, like genuinely so good.
Yeah, I'm obviously stuck on my F125 thing. He was done it so dirty in his rating, and I don't understand how. I think he was like 50 something, which is that's diabolical because all I need to say is if you guys saw that video of him from Monaco last year in the tunnel, narrowly avoiding that car.
My God.
For me, he doesn't have like race style. Like, how are you going to rate him? Are you kidding me? That could have been deadly, and he avoided it. He's fast.
That's one of my favorite videos.
Championship, and you're going to rate him 50, but Kimi Antonelli in the 70s? Bro didn't even do F3.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think Isaac is a very good driver. I believe that firmly. So yeah. The post-race interviews was on the move, which was so interesting. They were like in a little car going to like the location of the cool down room, which was like random.
I didn't even watch.
And they were just like, So I don't know. It was weird. But that's the clip that we got of like Oscar, because usually they're all by themselves, right? But this time they were just like sat in a row and just like passing the microphone down. So like Oscar was in the background of Lando's interview. And so this is when, yes, I made a sticker out of Oscar's face during this because it's Jensen Button. Jensen was the first driver to press the DRS button, interviewing Lando. And he's talking about like passing Max, and Lando's saying like, well, with Max, it's crash or don't pass.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a crazy thing to say, but when he's saying this, Oscar's face whips around, and he's like listening, and then his eyebrows kind of go, and then he like looks away. It is so funny to me. It is so funny. Also, obviously their necks are massive, but like Oscar's neck looks particularly massive from that angle. It's kind of crazy to see them, or like Charles Leclerc's neck from like the dead front. I'm like, that is a whole lot of neck.
Yeah, you're like, your neck is connected to your cheekbones. It's also really weird, like Oscar Piastri's first season, there was a video of him going to some sort of awards where like he could button up his like oh my God. And then like 6 months later they filmed the same sort of video and he's like, I can't do my top button up. And like it's just like,
they must have to get special shirts.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, I don't know if I've ever seen an F1 driver have like the first couple of buttons done up because like they got a chunky neck and like in a good way. Like there's something like
they need it.
I feel like that should be a gross thing, and sometimes I'm like, ew, that looks really gross, but other times I'm like, I really like how that looks. Why doesn't my neck look like that? But I couldn't pull it off.
Oh my God. Sometimes I think about, well, sometimes I'm delusional and I'm like, I could totally drive an F1 car. No, I could not. No. And so I'll be doing like some sort of ab exercise or some sort of exercise where I have to like hold my head up myself in the gym. And it's like, I'm like 30 seconds in and I'm like, why does my neck hurt? I could never be an F1 driver. And then I get really sad.
Yeah, like, I can't even hold my head up. How could I hold it up?
I know. The weight of my head, let alone multiple G's of force on my head. But, oh my God. And then I have a comment here saying, okay, grandpa, to Oscar, because they go into the cool down room and he like pats his thighs and sits down basically and goes, so what happened here? And I was like, okay. Such that retiree behavior.
Like that is like peak Australian. I do that.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah, so
Tim Tams out for him.
Summon Oscar Piastri with some Tim Tams. It's like Santa.
Literally.
Oh my god. So they have the cool down room. The cool down room is kind of whatever. It wasn't super notable to me. But then when we go out onto the podium, I did take this note. I said, Australian national anthem, close enough. Welcome back, F1 outro.
Yeah.
I'm here for the Oscar Piastri moment. I'm here for the Oscar Piastri WDC leadership. I'm here for him to be leading it toward the end of the season again. Like he said, I think Oscar said this in an interview. They were like, are you excited to be leading it? He's like, sure, but like I care about leading it later in the season, which is what I think will make him be able to do so. Yeah. But I want to talk about this. MBS, when he gave Oscar the medal, he got booed.
Good.
Did you guys get this on your broadcast?
Yeah.
He got booed.
I don't know the broadcast. I saw it on TikTok, I think, actually.
Yeah, he like loudly got booed. Everybody in Florida was waiting patiently. And he goes and he puts it on the thing, and so that everybody knows that they're not booing Oscar. It's once he's done and he's walking away, you hear everybody start booing him.
Yeah, well, because everyone on TikTok was trying to say, like, why is everyone booing Oscar? This is disgusting. And half the people were like, are you okay? Like, it's obviously MBS. Like, and like, you know what? You talk about all the time how this man just appears. And like, he topped that in Miami, because why did he like appear, but like also appeared with Lily and brought her to Oscar?
All the time. I made a TikTok about, I made a reel about it of just like, he was everywhere. He was like quietly in the background of the McLaren selfie with Zach Brown.
He's like, they must have cloned him or something. There's got to be like 30 of them.
There's so many of
them. Like 10 kilometers down the road that way, and then a split second later you turn around and he's like touching your neck. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, actually,
oh my god,
a good time to bring up the MBS losing his job situation.
Question mark? What's happening there? All of a sudden, everywhere, everyone is saying, oh, Carlos Sainz Sr. for FIA president, which just has a load of baggage. I do want to say, he and Michelle Mouton are the reason I want to get into rally.
Yeah.
But like,
I've been asked to be a rally navigator on like 3 separate occasions, and I don't know why people think
throw up.
I would literally rather die, because I probably would die. Like,
no, I would fully throw up.
The car is, but like, they're so dangerous.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, no, thank you.
Like, I'll write.
Yeah, so
but I'm not navigating.
No. Yeah. So Carlos Sainz Sr.
Yeah, we heavily had this discussion before we started filming as well, just to like pre-brief, because
because what? Like, I don't think that like like fundamentally, I don't think Carlos Sainz Sr. would be a bad FIA president. No. I don't, especially coming from the sport. Also, there has never been a Spanish FIA president, so that would be cool. But there is one glaring conflict of interest in the shape of his son, 30-something-year-old Carlos Sainz Jr.
And you know, Senior has come out in an interview and he said, like, I can assure you all that would not be a conflict of interest. And like, I don't know whether that's like the language barrier coming in, where he doesn't understand like in like the English language what conflict of interest truly means, because like it's not something you decide, it's a fact. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not. And like, I don't know whether he's just, I don't know. I don't get it, because you can't say there's not going to be a conflict of interest, because like your son's racing in F1, and like Sof says, I think he would make a really good FIA president. I truly do. But I just don't know if ethically he should be allowed to while he's son. And I'm not saying Carlos. I'm just saying maybe wait until he decides to retire.
Yeah, and like I think it's tricky too, because like you can not want to intend a conflict of interest, but like you said, like there's a legal definition of it, which is like he's probably referencing the fact that like I would have no conflict in like sanctioning my son, but like legally that doesn't change the fact that there would be one. But also I wonder like how much of a role MBS or like Carlos Sainz Sr. would have in like explicitly sanctioning things.
Yeah, well, because that's the thing. Like, he's the overarching figure, but like, there's still like the race directors and race control who like make those
they control the real stuff.
Yeah, but I feel like the main concern comes to the fact where like, yeah, he's not making those decisions on like who gets a penalty, who doesn't, but like, are the like race control and race directors gonna feel like they have to not give Carlos penalties to impress his dad and
dad's in charge? Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's not even necessarily that he would say if you guys give him a penalty or anything, but like just that subconscious. Like I know if I was sitting there and I like gave their son a penalty, I'd be scared.
Yeah, it's tricky. So I mean, we'll have to keep an eye on the news for that because I know I'm not the biggest MBS fan, so
I don't know how they're going to go about getting signs in instead of MBS, and I don't know how quickly they're even going to be able to do it. Like, do you know what I mean? No one's necessarily saying this is like an immediate effect, or even 6 months from now, or God, even like this could be like a 10 years down the road thing. Like, I don't know what time constraint they're talking about here, and I feel like that also questioning and like for such like a simple sort of thing, there's so much like question and like ethics behind it, and it's tricky.
Yeah, it's I don't know. We'll just have to keep an eye out and watch that one. But I did want to end the episode with just the notes that Liv wrote in the sheet. So pardon my French here. This is pretty Australian language here. I should say pardon my Australian. So it just says feature race, and there are 5 bullet points, and it says, what the fuck? What the fuck Ferrari? What the fuck Red Bull? What the fuck McLaren? And then in all caps, what the fuck rookies? And I do want to note that one has the most question marks.
Yeah, because I know we're ending it here, but let me explain the what the fuck rookies, because like I know we just talked about how like Isaac was so close to like points and like did so well.
Yeah.
From my standpoint, this race was at 6 a.m. So like I was getting the kids ready for school, I was getting myself ready for the day. I wasn't like just sitting down watching the race, right? And like obviously like I heard Jack doing crashing, so like obviously I was like, oh yeah, he's
with Liam
DNF. Yeah.
Interesting.
I can't go too in depth about it. I might cry or like start throwing punches. I don't know. But like obviously I was like, okay, well he's obviously gonna DNF. So like I turned back around and like saw Ellie said do an out. And then I've turned around to do something else and it's Ollie Behrman out. And I was like,
oh, with the engine absolute
and I was like, what just happened? And I was like, whatever, don't think about it. Turned around again, was going on with my day. Turned back around and Bortoletto's pulled into one of the like little nooks. And I was like, what the heck? Turn around yet again and turn back to the screen and it's just Liam in his garage. And I was like, hello? 4 rookies? What just... That's my what the fuck rookies, because what the fuck rookies? I can't explain it anymore. Like, I mean what I said. I said what I mean what I said. What the fuck rookies? I may have to like figure out how to bleep all this, because like we're never getting like monetized or safe for kids in this podcast. Because
it was tough to watch some of those power unit issues go down.
It was not ideal, but it's fine. We're fine. I'm quickly scrolling on my Instagram to see if I can quickly end this episode on a note I'd really like to end it on. But I don't know if I'm going to find what I need to find. Oh my god, I can't. Okay, well, I was going to try and tell you the qualifying results for Holly, because qualifying, we started filming this and KO doesn't cover qualifying for whatever reason. I don't know where Holly qualified. Sorry guys, that would have been a nice note. I'm gonna assume P11 out of 24.
I guess we'll fact check. We'll be able to find out.
Yeah, if I remember to, I'll add a little caption of where she actually qualified, but we'll see what happens. My memory is shot. The last 3 episodes I've said, I'll include this here, and I haven't. So don't get your hopes up, folks.
Oh my god, happens to the best of us. Well, that was Miami. we have a week off, so we will catch you for the next episode.
Yeah. In all honesty, you're probably seeing this on the week off because I think our Alpine episode may go up at the time of filming, and then we'll just push Miami back because who cares? I don't know. You'll find out when we do. And we'll see you on the next episode of Gears and Glory. Bye-bye.
Bye.